Part 1. The Explosion. The distant star cast an eerie glow across the metal surface of the remote space station. Inside, Asha wiped the sweat from her brow as she tinkered with the station's temperamental life support system. Her dark hair was pulled back into a tight ponytail, and her brown eyes focused on the task at hand. As one of the few human engineers aboard the station, Asha was used to the long hours and the constant hum of machinery. Suddenly, a deafening explosion rocked the station, sending Asha tumbling to the floor. Red emergency lights flashed, and the acrid smell of smoke filled the air. Asha's heart raced as she stumbled to her feet, her mind reeling with questions. What had caused the explosion? Were they under attack? She quickly grabbed her tools and raced out of the maintenance room, navigating the cramped corridors of the station. Other crew members, a mix of various alien species, rushed past her, their faces etched with fear and confusion. Asha's instincts told her to head towards the command center, where she hoped to find answers. As she rounded a corner, Asha came face to face with a scene of utter chaos. The command center lay in ruins, with sparking consoles and shattered screens. Amidst the debris, she spotted the station's commander, a tall insectoid Zorgon, lying motionless on the floor. Asha rushed to the commander's side, checking for vital signs. To her relief, the commander was still alive, but badly injured. With a groan, the Zorgon opened its compound eyes and focused on Asha. "The message," the commander rasped, its voice barely audible over the blaring alarms. "Find the message." Asha's brows furrowed in confusion. "What message? What's going on?" The commander's eyes closed, and its body went limp. Asha felt a surge of panic, realizing that she was now alone in the midst of a crisis. She glanced around the ruined command center, her eyes falling on a blinking light on one of the few intact consoles. Cautiously, Asha approached the console and tapped the flickering screen. A holographic image sprang to life, revealing a cloaked figure. The figure spoke in a distorted voice, its words sending chills down Asha's spine. "To all who oppose the Zorgon Empire, we are the Cosmic Alliance. The time has come to rise against our oppressors and reclaim our freedom. The Zorgons' true nature and their plans for galactic domination must be exposed. If you seek the truth, follow the coordinates embedded in this message. Together, we can change the course of history." The message ended abruptly, leaving Asha stunned. Her mind raced with the implications of what she had just heard. The Zorgon Empire, the very power that had subjugated her people and countless others, was planning something far more sinister than she had ever imagined. With a newfound sense of purpose, Asha downloaded the coordinates from the message and made her way to the escape pods. She knew that her life would never be the same, but she also knew that she could not turn back now. The fate of the galaxy and the future of her own people depended on her next moves. As she climbed into an escape pod and launched into the vast expanse of space, Asha's heart pounded with a mix of fear and determination. The journey ahead would be perilous, but she was ready to face whatever challenges lay in store. The cosmic rebellion had begun, and Asha was now a part of something greater than herself. Part 2. The Cosmic Alliance. Asha's escape pod hurtled through the void of space, its destination locked onto the coordinates from the mysterious message. As the adrenaline from her narrow escape began to wear off, Asha's mind buzzed with questions. Who were the Cosmic Alliance, and what did they know about the Zorgons' plans? After what felt like an eternity, the escape pod finally approached a massive, irregularly shaped asteroid. As Asha guided the pod closer, a hidden hangar bay suddenly appeared, its doors sliding open to grant her entry. With a mixture of apprehension and curiosity, Asha docked the pod and stepped out into the unknown. She found herself in a dimly lit, cavernous space filled with an eclectic assortment of starships and vessels. Beings of various species hurried about, some carrying supplies, Others engaged in heated discussions. Asha couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the sight of so many different races working together. "Well, well, what do we have here?" a gruff voice called out from behind her. Asha spun around to see a tall, muscular alien with scaly green skin and piercing yellow eyes. He wore a battle-scarred armor and carried a menacing-looking blaster at his side. "I'm Asha," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "I received a message about the Cosmic Alliance. I want to help." The alien regarded her with a skeptical look. "A human, huh? We don't see many of your kind around here. I'm Rax, and I don't trust easily." Asha stood her ground, meeting Rax's gaze. "I may be human, but I'm not weak. I have skills that can be useful to your cause." Rax barked out a laugh. "Skills? Like what? Tinkering with broken machinery?" Asha's eyes narrowed. "I'm an engineer, and I know how to think on my feet. If you give me a chance, I'll prove my worth." Rax's expression softened slightly, and he gave a curt nod. "Fine, but you'll have to earn your keep. Follow me." As Asha fell into step behind Rax, he began to explain the true nature of the Cosmic Alliance. "We're a group of rebels from all corners of the galaxy, united against the Zorgon Empire. They've been conquering and enslaving species for centuries, but we've discovered something that could change everything." Rax led Asha into a central command room, where a holographic map of the galaxy shimmered in the air. He pointed to a specific star system, his voice lowering to a whisper. "We've learned that the Zorgons are searching for an ancient artifact, a key to unlocking a weapon of unimaginable power. If they find it, they'll be unstoppable." Asha's eyes widened as she studied the map. "What do you need me to do?" Rax turned to face her, his expression grave. "We're planning a mission to infiltrate a Zorgon stronghold and gather more intelligence on this artifact. We need someone with your skills to help us bypass their security systems and retrieve the data." Asha's heart raced at the prospect of such a dangerous mission, but she knew she couldn't turn back now. She had a chance to make a real difference, to strike a blow against the very empire that had oppressed her people for so long. "I'm in," she said, her voice filled with determination. As Rax briefed her on the details of the mission, Asha couldn't shake the feeling that her own past was somehow connected to the fate of the galaxy. With each passing moment, she grew more resolved to uncover the truth and play her part in the cosmic rebellion. Little did she know, the path ahead would be filled with more dangers, revelations, and life-altering choices than she could ever imagine. Part 3. The Zorgon Stronghold. The Cosmic Alliance strike team, led by Rax and Asha, approached the Zorgon stronghold under the cover of darkness. The imposing structure loomed before them, its black metal walls bristling with advanced weaponry and detection systems. Asha's heart pounded in her chest as she double-checked her equipment, knowing that the success of their mission hinged on her ability to breach the stronghold's defenses. "Remember the plan," Rax whispered, his voice barely audible over the hum of the ship's engines. "Asha will disable the security systems, and then we'll split into two groups. One will retrieve the data, while the other plants the explosives to cover our escape." The team nodded in agreement, their faces etched with a mix of determination and apprehension. As they disembarked from the ship and made their way towards the stronghold, Asha couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to go terribly wrong. Using her skills as an engineer, Asha managed to hack into the stronghold's security network, temporarily disabling the alarms and cameras. The team quickly split up, with Rax leading the data retrieval group while Asha joined the explosives team. As Asha worked to plant the charges, a sudden commotion erupted from the other side of the stronghold. Alarms blared, and the sound of blaster fire echoed through the halls. Asha's heart sank as she realized that Rax's team had been discovered. "We have to help them!" Asha shouted, abandoning her task and rushing towards the sound of the fighting. But before she could reach her comrades, a group of heavily armed Zorgon soldiers emerged from a hidden doorway, blocking her path. Asha barely had time to react before a stun blast struck her in the chest, sending her crumpling to the ground. When Asha regained consciousness, she found herself in a dimly lit cell, her hands and feet bound by energy shackles. She blinked groggily, trying to make sense of her surroundings. That's when she noticed a figure huddled in the corner of the cell, a female Zorgon with iridescent scales and haunted eyes. "Who are you?" Asha asked, her voice hoarse. The Zorgon looked up, her expression a mix of fear and resignation. "I am Zara, a scientist, or at least I used to be before I discovered the truth about my people." Asha's eyes widened. "The truth? What do you mean?" Zara hesitated for a moment, then spoke in a low, urgent tone. "The Zorgon Empire is not what it seems. They are planning something far more sinister than mere conquest. I have been working on a secret project, one that could change the course of the war." Asha leaned forward, her interest piqued. "What kind of project?" Zara's voice trembled as she replied, "A weapon, one capable of destroying entire planets. The Zorgons intend to use it to wipe out any species that refuses to submit to their rule." Asha felt a chill run down her spine. The stakes were even higher than she had imagined. "We have to stop them," she said, her voice filled with determination. Zara nodded, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "I have a plan. But we'll need to work together to escape this cell and reach my laboratory." As the two began to plot their escape, Asha couldn't help but marvel at the strange twist of fate that had brought her together with a disgraced Zorgon scientist. She knew that their unlikely alliance could be the key to stopping the Zorgon Empire and saving countless lives. Meanwhile, Rax and the surviving members of the strike team regrouped outside the stronghold, their hearts heavy with the loss of their comrades. They knew they had to act quickly to rescue Asha and complete the mission, but the odds seemed stacked against them. As they prepared to mount a desperate rescue operation, none of them could have guessed the shocking revelations that awaited them within the heart of the Zorgon stronghold. Part 4. The Secret Weapon. Asha and Zara huddled together in the dimly lit cell, their minds racing as they finalized their escape plan. Zara's knowledge of the Zorgon stronghold's layout and security systems proved invaluable, and soon they were ready to make their move. Using a concealed tool that Zara had smuggled into the cell, they managed to short-circuit the energy shackles binding their limbs. As the shackles fell away, Asha rubbed her wrists, feeling a surge of adrenaline coursing through her veins. "We'll need to be quick and quiet," Zara whispered, her eyes darting towards the cell door. "The guards will be making their rounds soon." Asha nodded, steeling herself for the challenge ahead. Together they crept towards the door, Zara's nimble fingers making short work of the locking mechanism. As the door slid open, they peered out into the empty corridor, their senses on high alert. Guided by Zara's intimate knowledge of the stronghold, they navigated through a maze of corridors and hidden passageways, narrowly avoiding detection by the Zorgon patrols. Finally, they reached Zara's laboratory, a cavernous space filled with glowing screens and strange pulsating devices. "There," Zara said, pointing to a large, cylindrical object in the center of the room. "That's the prototype for the planet destroyer weapon." Asha's eyes widened as she took in the sheer scale of the device. "How do we stop it?" Zara hurried over to a control panel, her fingers flying across the keys. "I've been working on a way to sabotage the weapon, but I need your help. Your engineering skills will be crucial." As Asha and Zara worked feverishly to disable the planet destroyer, the sound of blaster fire and shouting echoed from beyond the laboratory doors. Rax and the remaining Cosmic Alliance fighters had arrived, engaging the Zorgon guards in a fierce battle. "We're running out of time!" Asha shouted, her brow furrowed in concentration as she rewired the weapon's power core. Just as they were about to complete the sabotage, the laboratory doors burst open, revealing a contingent of heavily armed Zorgon soldiers. At their head stood a towering figure, his scales a deep, menacing black, the Zorgon Emperor himself. "You dare betray your own kind, Zara," the Emperor hissed, his eyes blazing with fury. "And you, human, you think you can stand against the might of the Zorgon Empire?" Asha stepped forward, her chin held high. "We stand against tyranny and oppression, no matter the odds." The Emperor let out a cruel laugh. "Foolish child, you have no idea the power you are meddling with." As the Emperor raised his weapon, Rax and the Cosmic Alliance fighters surged into the room, engaging the Zorgon soldiers in a fierce battle. In the chaos, Asha and Zara managed to complete the sabotage, sending a cascading failure through the planet destroyer's systems. The Emperor let out a roar of rage as the weapon began to crumble and explode around them. "You may have won this battle, but the war is far from over." With the planet destroyer destroyed and the Zorgon forces in disarray, Asha, Zara, Rax, and the remaining Cosmic Alliance fighters made their escape, fleeing the stronghold in a hail of blaster fire and explosions. As they raced through the stars, Asha knew that their victory was only the beginning. The Zorgon Empire would not rest until they had exacted their revenge, and the Cosmic Alliance would need to be ready for the battles to come. But with Zara's knowledge and Asha's determination, they had a chance to turn the tide of the war. The fight for freedom and justice in the galaxy had only just begun, and Asha was ready to play her part in the epic struggle that lay ahead. Part 5. The Final Stand. The Cosmic Alliance base was a hive of activity as rebels from across the galaxy gathered to plan their final offensive against the Zorgon Empire. Asha stood at the center of the command room, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of the Zorgon's main research facility. This was where the Emperor had retreated after their last encounter, and where he was undoubtedly plotting his revenge. "We have to strike now, while they're still reeling from the loss of the planet destroyer," Asha said, her voice filled with determination. Rax nodded, his battle-scarred face etched with grim resolve. "Agreed. We'll need to hit them hard and fast with everything we've got." Zara stepped forward, her eyes gleaming with a newfound sense of purpose. "I have an idea. If we can infiltrate the research facility and access the main computer core, I can upload a virus that will cripple their entire network." Asha turned to Zara, a smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. "That's brilliant, but it won't be easy. The facility will be heavily guarded." "Leave that to me," Rax growled, cracking his knuckles. "I'll lead a strike team to draw their fire and create a diversion." With a plan in place, the Cosmic Alliance set in motion. Asha, Zara, and a small team of rebels boarded a stealth ship and set course for the Zorgon research facility, while Rax and his strike team prepared for the assault of their lives. As they approached the facility, Asha's heart raced with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. She knew that the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and that failure was not an option. The stealth ship docked at the facility's outer airlock, and Asha's team quickly made their way inside. Using Zara's knowledge of the facility's layout, they navigated through the labyrinthine corridors, avoiding patrols and security systems. Finally, they reached the main computer core, a vast chamber filled with pulsing lights and humming machinery. Zara rushed to the central console, her fingers flying across the keys as she began to upload the virus. Suddenly, a deep, menacing voice echoed through the chamber. "Did you really think it would be that easy?" Asha spun around to see the Zorgon Emperor emerging from the shadows, flanked by a squad of elite guards. "Your pathetic rebellion ends here," he snarled, leveling his weapon at Asha. But Asha stood her ground, her eyes blazing with determination. "No, Emperor. This is where your reign of terror ends. We won't let you enslave and destroy any more worlds. As the Emperor and his guards advanced, Asha and her team fought back with everything they had. Blaster bolts filled the air, and the stench of ozone and burnt metal filled Asha's nostrils. In the midst of the chaos, Asha saw an opening. She lunged forward, tackling the Emperor to the ground. They grappled fiercely, trading blows and struggling for dominance. "You fight well for a human," the Emperor hissed, his eyes filled with malice. "But you are no match for the might of the Zorgon Empire." Asha's mind raced, searching for a way to end the conflict without more bloodshed. In a flash of inspiration, she remembered something her father had once told her, long ago. "There is always another way, if you have the courage to seek it." "Emperor, wait!" Asha shouted, holding up her hand. "It doesn't have to be like this. We can find a way to coexist, to build a future together. Endless war and conquest will only lead to more suffering for all of us." The Emperor hesitated, his eyes narrowing. "You speak of peace, but you know nothing of the Zorgon way. We are conquerors. It is our destiny." Asha met his gaze, her voice calm and steady. "But it doesn't have to be. Imagine what we could achieve if we worked together, if we pooled our knowledge and resources. We could explore the stars, make new discoveries, create a better life for all species." For a long, tense moment, the Emperor remained silent. Then, slowly, he lowered his weapon. "You are a strange creature, human, but perhaps there is wisdom in your words. I will consider your proposal." As the Emperor signaled for his guards to stand down, Zara completed the upload of the virus, effectively crippling the Zorgons' military network. The tide had turned, and the Cosmic Alliance had won a major victory. But Asha knew that the road ahead would be long and difficult. Building trust and cooperation between the Zorgons and the other species of the galaxy would take time and effort. Still, she had hope that a new era of peace and prosperity was on the horizon. As she stood amidst the debris of the battle, Asha couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. She had started this journey as a lone engineer, thrust into a galactic conflict by chance. But through her determination, ingenuity, and unwavering belief in a better future, she had become a leader and a symbol of hope for all those who yearned for freedom and justice. The Cosmic Rebellion had achieved a great victory, but Asha knew that their work was far from over. With renewed purpose and a united front, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, ready to fight for the future they believed in. Part 6. A New Dawn. In the aftermath of the Cosmic Alliance's victory over the Zorgon Empire, a new era of peace and cooperation dawned across the galaxy. Asha stood on the observation deck of the Alliance's newly established diplomatic center, gazing out at the stars. She marveled at how far they had come since those early days of the rebellion, when hope had seemed like a distant dream. Beside her, Rax and Zara stood in quiet contemplation. They had all grown so much since their first meeting, each overcoming their own challenges and prejudices to forge a bond that transcended species and cultures. "I never thought I'd see the day when Zorgons and humans would be working together," Rax mused, a hint of amusement in his voice. Zara smiled, her iridescent scales shimmering in the starlight. "It just goes to show that anything is possible when we open our minds and hearts to change." Asha nodded, her expression thoughtful. "There's still so much work to be done. Rebuilding trust, establishing new alliances, exploring the uncharted reaches of space. But I believe we're up to the challenge." As they spoke, a chime sounded, signaling an incoming transmission. Asha moved to the communications console, her brow furrowing as she read the message. "What is it?" Rax asked, sensing the change in her demeanor. Asha looked up, her eyes widening with a mix of excitement and trepidation. "It's a distress call from a previously unknown sector of the galaxy. They claim to be under attack by a powerful, unknown enemy." Zara and Rax exchanged a glance. the weight of the situation sinking in. "We have to help them," Zara said, her voice filled with determination. Asha nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. "We'll need to gather a team, assess the situation, and come up with a plan. It won't be easy, but we've faced worse odds before." As they set to work, preparing for the new challenge that lay ahead, Asha couldn't help but reflect on the incredible journey that had brought them to this point. From the ashes of the Zorgon Empire, a new age of cooperation and discovery had risen, one that held the promise of a brighter future for all. But even as they celebrated their hard-won peace, Asha knew that the universe was vast and full of mysteries. The unknown enemy that threatened this distant sector was a reminder that there would always be new challenges to face, new frontiers to explore. And yet, as she looked around at her friends and allies, Asha felt a surge of confidence and purpose. Together, they had overcome impossible odds, forged unbreakable bonds, and changed the course of history. Whatever lay ahead, she knew that they would face it with the same courage, determination, and unity that had brought them this far. As the stars stretched out before them, infinite and full of promise, Asha smiled. The cosmic rebellion had been just the beginning. Now, as the defenders of peace and champions of discovery, they would embark on a new adventure, ready to face whatever the universe had in store. With a deep breath, Asha turned to her companions, her eyes shining with resolve. "Let's get to work. We have a galaxy to protect, and a future to build." And with that, the next chapter in the saga of the Cosmic Alliance began, a testament to the enduring spirit of cooperation, courage, and hope that had been forged in the crucible of the Cosmic Rebellion. The journey was far from over, but one thing was certain. As long as Asha and her friends stood together, no challenge was too great, no obstacle insurmountable. The future was theirs to shape, and they would do so with the strength and wisdom born of their trials and triumphs. Thus, the story of humanity rising came to a close, not with an ending, but with a new beginning, a promise of countless adventures yet to come, and a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the light of hope and unity could never be extinguished.